It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have it than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. That's the statement we're exploring today. And I want to be clear from the start. This is not about motivation. This is not about chasing opportunities or waiting for a big break. This is about discipline. This is about building systems so that when opportunity arrives, and it will arrive, you are already equipped. Most men wait for opportunity to show up and then they scramble to get ready. They are reactive, they are desperate, they are unprepared. But the disciplined man, he's already prepared. He's been preparing for years. And when opportunity arrives, he doesn't have to think about it. He just executes. That's what we are talking about today. There's a parable in Matthew chapter 25 that Jesus told. It's about 10 virgins waiting for the bridegroom. Five of them were wise, and five were foolish. The wise brought oil for their lamps, the foolish virgins didn't. And when the bridegroom was delayed, all 10 fell asleep. But when he finally arrived in the middle of the night, the lamps needed to be lit. The wise virgins had the oil, the foolish ones didn't. And here's what happened: the foolish virgins asked the wise ones for oil. But the wise virgins said, "No, if we give you our oil, it won't be enough for us. Go buy your own." So the foolish virgins went to buy oil, but while they were gone, the bridegroom arrived. The wise virgins went in with him. The doors were shut. The foolish virgins were left outside. Jesus' conclusion: therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. This parable is not about being lucky, it's about being prepared. The wise virgins didn't know when the bridegroom would arrive, but they were ready anyway. They had discipline, they had systems, they had the oil. The foolish virgins had excuses, they had reasons, but they didn't have preparation. And when the moment came, preparation was the only thing that mattered. Here's what I want to be clear about: preparation is not motivation. Motivation is a feeling, it's temporary, it comes and goes. You feel motivated on Monday, and by Wednesday, it's gone. But preparation is a discipline, it's a system, it's something you do every single day, regardless of how you feel. Motivated man waits until he feels like preparing. He waits until the opportunity is in sight, and then he scrambles. The disciplined man prepares whether he feels like it or not. He prepares on days when nothing is happening. He prepares when there is no urgency. He prepares because preparation is part of his identity, not part of his motivation. And here's the truth: when opportunity arrives, the motivated man is always scrambling. He's always behind. He's always playing catch up. But the disciplined man is already there. He's already ready because he's been preparing all along. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Diligence is not motivation, diligence is discipline. It's the daily work of preparation. And it's what separates the men who sees opportunities from the men who miss them. Let me give you some examples of men who understood this principle. Steve Jobs, before he founded Apple, he was preparing. He was learning about design. He was studying typography. He was reading philosophy. He was preparing for an opportunity he didn't even know was coming. And when the moment arrived, when personal computers became a possibility, he was ready. He had spent years preparing. Oprah Winfrey, before she became a media mogul, she was preparing. She was working in radio. She was learning how to interview people. She was building relationships. She was preparing. And when the opportunity came to host a talk show, she was ready. She didn't scramble. She was prepared. Denzel Washington, before he became one of the greatest actors of our time, he was preparing. He was taking acting classes. He was auditioning for small roles. He was studying the craft. He was preparing. And when his breakthrough role came, he was ready. The Apostle Paul, before he became one of the greatest leaders in history, he was preparing. He was educated. He was disciplined. He was studying scripture. He was preparing. And when Jesus appeared to him on the Damascus road, he was ready to be transformed and to transform the world. Your grandfather or your father. Maybe you don't know the famous examples, but think about the men in your own life who succeeded. They didn't get lucky. They prepared. They worked when nobody was watching. They built skills when there was no urgency. They prepared for opportunities that they didn't know were coming. And when the opportunities arrived, they were ready. That's the pattern. Preparation comes first, opportunity second, and success comes third. First, but most of the men reverse the order. They wait for opportunity, then they try to prepare, and by then it's too late. So, how do you prepare? Let me give you a framework. Daily preparation. Your daily preparation is your non negotiables. It's a discipline, it's the work you do every single day that builds your foundation. If you want to be a great communicator, you read every day, you write every day, you practice speaking every day. That's daily preparation. If you want to be a great leader, you study leadership every day, practice making decisions every day, you build relationships every day. That's daily preparation. If you want to be a great father, you show up for your kids every day, you listen every day, you teach every day. That's daily preparation. Your your daily preparation is not about the opportunity. It's about building the person who can seize the opportunity when it arrives. Weekly preparation. Weekly preparation is about reviewing and adjusting. It's about asking, what did I prepare for this week? What worked? What didn't? What do I need to adjust? You're not just doing the work, you're reflecting on the work, you're learning from it, you're getting better. Yearly preparation. Yearly preparation is about vision. It's about asking, what opportunity am I preparing for? What skills do I need to develop? What systems do I need to build? You're not just reacting to life, you're intentionally preparing for the future you want to create. Most men don't have a yearly preparation plan. They just react to what comes. But the disciplined man, he has a vision. He knows what he's preparing for and he's building systems to get there. So here's your framework. Daily, do the work, build a foundation. Weekly, review and adjust. And yearly, set the vision and build the systems. That's how you prepare, not through motivation, through discipline. Now, let me talk about the cost of being unprepared. When opportunity arrives and you're not ready, you miss it. It's that simple. The opportunity passes to someone else, someone who was prepared. But there's a deeper cost. There's the cost to your identity. When you're unprepared, you're reactive, you're desperate, you're scrambling, and that becomes who you are. You become a man who reacts instead of a man who acts. You become a man who scrambles instead of a man who executes. And once that identity takes hold, it's hard to change. But when you're prepared, you're calm, you're confident, you're ready. And that becomes who you are. You become a man who is ready for anything. You become a man who executes. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3 says, The prudent say the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. The prudent man prepares, he sees what's coming, he gets ready, and when it arrives, he's not caught off guard. The simple man doesn't prepare. He just reacts, and when danger or opportunity arrives, he's unprepared, he pays the penalty. Which man are you? Are you the prudent man who prepares? Or are you the simple man who reacts? Because your answer to that question determines your future. Here is what most people don't understand. Preparation is invisible. Nobody sees you preparing. Nobody sees you reading. Nobody sees you practicing. Nobody sees you building systems. Nobody sees you studying. And nobody sees you working on yourself. But when opportunity arrives, suddenly everyone sees the results. They see you execute. They see you succeed. And they think you got lucky. But you didn't get lucky. You prepared for years in silence when nobody was watching. That's the invisible advantage. That's what separates the men who build from the men who only talk about building. The disciplined man prepares in silence, and when the moment comes, he executes. And the world sees the result and calls it luck. But it was never luck. It was discipline. It was preparation. It was years of daily work that nobody saw. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 that says, There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. There's an appointed time for opportunity. You don't know when it is, but it's coming. The question is, will you be ready? Will you be the man who prepared? Or will you be the man who scrambles? Will you be the man who built the foundation? Or will you be the man who is caught off guard? The appointed time is coming. The only question is whether you'll be ready for it. And the only way to be ready is through discipline, daily discipline, through daily preparation. through daily work that nobody sees. That's the doctrine. That's the system. That's what separates men who sees opportunities from the men who miss them. So here's what I want you to take from this episode. Preparation is not motivation. Preparation is discipline. You don't prepare because you feel like it. You prepare because it's part of your identity. You prepare because you're a man who is ready. Daily preparation, weekly review, yearly vision. That's the framework. That's the system. And when the opportunity arrives, and it will arrive, you won't have to scramble. You'll always be ready because you've been preparing all along. That's the appointed time. That's the doctrine. Build it. This is built, not felt by the rice code. I'll see you all in the next one.